So did you know that there is an app that you can download where you can actually check your heart rate and see how fast your heart is beating? And I found it to be very interesting. So, I want to say last January, we were on vacation and we're out to dinner, and I was telling my grandparents about this app, and my grandma tried it, and her heart rate was 64 beats, which is extremely low for her. So she started freaking out, thinking she needed a pacemaker, thinking she was dying, all these horrible things. So then she goes home, she goes to see a cardiologist, and basically he told her, well, the heart's a funny organ, and sent her on her way, even though she had extremely low heartbeat for herself. So then time went by, and then a couple of weeks ago she wasn't feeling well. So my mother went over to check on her, and she didn't look good, she wasn't sounding great. So they went to the urgent care clinic to check everything out, and then while she was there, she was having chest pains. So because she's a grandma, meaning elderly woman, and with chest pains, they called an ambulance, and they got her in the ambulance, and she went to the hospital, and they did some testing, and then they decided, I think they admitted her to the hospital, and she ended up having surgery. She ended up actually getting a pacemaker put in. And it was like a 2-hour surgery. They had a lot of trouble getting the pacemaker in because her thyroid, if y'all know what that is, the thingy here, was so big they had to go all around it and maneuver and whatnot. So then to make sure, they want to make sure everything is good. And so she can't move her left arm upright. She can't do anything with it until for 6 weeks. I don't know, a long, long time. So everything's in place, everything sits, it settles, the whole 9 yards. So then, she had the surgery. Then the next day, she went into fibrillation, also known as AFib. And that's when your heart goes wicky-wacky, woo-hoo, and it beats woo. So the next day, her heart was at 116 beats. So then you gotta go on medication to help calm and slow your heart rate down. And then you have to be put on a blood thinner, because what can happen when all this mumbo-jumbo is going on, as you can see, I never went to med school. So as this mumbo-jumbo is going on, you can actually get a blood clot. Because here's this thing is like an artery in your blood. For blood cells, they go through, but then what happens is they build up, and then it gets restricted, then fewer and fewer can go through, and then before you know it, blood clot, balloon, bam. So they had to put on blood thinners, and they said, I guess it was kind of normal, right after a pacemaker is put in, that your heart goes into AFib. So she was in the hospital a couple days. So she's actually been in and out of the hospital 3 times in this month, pretty close, back to back, because she goes in because of AFib, or she's having trouble breathing, which she is. So they admit her in the hospital, they put her on oxygen, they give her some meds, IV, the whole 9 yards. And then a couple of days, they're there's not much we can do, and then they send her home, and then she has an issue, and then she's back in the hospital. It's Ugh. So it's really stressful for me personally to see someone that I love so much sick and not feeling good, and seeing one of the strongest people I know actually really physically, emotionally weak. She's worn out, tired, exhausted. She feels like a zombie. She said she just wants to feel human again. So, because like, I guess your thyroid, is a gland, and it shoots off hormones. So when your hormones of the thyroid are imbalanced, then you go into AFib, and everything's like interconnected. It's crazy. So they're debating, do they remove the thyroid or not? And if they're going to, they don't want to do it until her heart and all that jazz is under control. They said unless it was like so big that it was like pushing on her trachea, blocking her windpipes, and that's why she couldn't breathe, or if it was cancerous or something, they would take it out right away. But because it's none of those things, thank God, they want her to get healthy if she can. Well, hopefully she will. They want her to get healthy, and then they'll debate or take another look and debate, do you want to have this out or not? Then she has to get CAT scans, and then they got to do the iodine test where they like shoot the ink in you so they can see, and then that sends the thyroid off. So like everything's like cuckoo. So she's home now, and we were able to get her oxygen. It's not the same at the hospital. At the hospital, they like shoot this oxygen up your nose, so you have to do no work at all. It just like shoots up and down and in your lungs and expands your lungs so you can breathe. This is a less pressurized, I guess you could say, oxygen, but it's oxygen nonetheless. She has little thingies up her nose and has this giant tube going all through the house that's attached to the oxygen machine. And it's definitely helping. So right now she's got a hyperthyroidism, like her thyroid's cuckoo, and she's going in and out of AFib, so her heart's not beating. It's beating irregularly, or sometimes it beats right, sometimes it doesn't. Like, she can't get too wild up or excited. She gets fluid in her lungs, and that makes it hard to breathe. It makes her cough a lot. Like, she can talk for a little bit, and then she's like, for like ever. Like that. Okay, so then she's also like in and out of heart failure. She's in congestive heart failure. I have no idea what's going on. So this month has been crazy. It's going to be crazy, or busy rather. In general, like, I was supposed to go away on vacation the beginning of the month and the end of the month. And obviously the first trip got canceled. So far it's looking like the second trip is getting canceled. And we did have a little like overnight little weekendy thingy, which may or may not happen. I don't know. It all depends on my grandma. So she can't really do much of anything. So we got her one of those nifty like recliner chairs that are nice and cushiony that can recline back, so you're like, wee, like, wee. And then also it has a remote control, so you can press forward in the chair, like, slowly it like lifts you up to practically to the point where you're like standing, so she doesn't have to like to try to get up off the chair. So so she wears the oxygen all the time, except when she's like, I don't know, taking a shower or like in the bathroom. She just takes it off. Otherwise, she's in her chair reclined with a blanket, with the oxygen. And we're able to get visiting nurses to come in and, take her blood, check her out, make sure it's all good. But also, a couple of years ago, my grandfather had a pacemaker put in. And the deal with these pacemakers is they set it to like a certain, like, your heart can only beat a certain amount of beats based on what your pacemaker is set at. So I think his can only go up to like 64. It's like his is like really low number, so he cannot do a lot. He cannot exert a lot of energy because you don't want to like burn this thing out. Because his pacemaker, honestly, is the only thing that's keeping him alive at some point. he is gonna have to get a new one, hopefully before it dies. So he's been really weak and fragile and lost a lot of weight and just moves very slowly. He gets winded easily. So he can't even like bend down to pick something up. So he can hardly do anything. So like him taking care of my grandma is not an option. So my mom and my aunt, you know, they're taking care of her. My dad's buying cooked meals, you know, things that are easier to throw in the oven or microwave on the stove, whatever, to get through the week. So my grandfather really doesn't have to do much cooking. It's like I'm in the hospital, my aunt does a day shift, my mom does a night shift, my grandfather go and visit her. So right now she's home. And hopefully she stays home and gets better. And her pacemaker has a range of heartbeats, so she has some flexibility, but again, you don't want to like exacerbate, if that's the right word, these things. You don't want to like work them too hard, and gotta know your limit. So originally, I guess, or maybe it still is, her pacemaker is more like a generator, like a backup, like for whenever her heart like goes funky, it will help it beat regularly. But then when she goes into the AFib, and you know, so whenever that happens, she's supposed to immediately call the ambulance and go to the hospital. And like I said earlier, all this has been extremely stressful on me because it is just, first and foremost, just kind of sad. I mean, the last thing you want is your grandparents sick. It's bringing back a lot of memories and emotions from the past. Like when my grandfather had his pacemaker put in and my grandma broke her hip and they're both in hospitals and rehabs. Like and so it's very hard for me to deal with. I kind of feel like I'm like in a situational like depression. Like I'm just like not like my happy chipper self. Not that I'm really fully chipper, peppy, or enthusiastic anyway. But the good news is I've been trying to, you know, keep living my life, and I started exercising, just trying to stay busy, build up endorphins, just trying to do things to make me feel good. My anxiety is like through the roof. Like I just do not feel good all the time, like to the point where I just want to lay in bed or on the couch and watch TV, which is actually the wrong thing to do, because the more you do that, then the worse it gets and the worse you feel, and then you're like stuck in a rut and you can't go anywhere. So I'm trying to stay active, but have a little bit of respite. Like, if I can, this doesn't happen every day, but if I can, I try to take a 15-minute nap in the afternoon just to kind of, like, give myself some rest, especially if I hadn't really slept well the other night, because I was doing good sleeping, but then this whole thing threw me out of whack. And it's kind of like, I was just getting long, whatever. So I went to the sleep clinic, and they explained that everything was working, and then I had anxiety from a pre- and post-dental procedure, which they totally understood. Like, yeah, something big and heavy like that would throw someone like me off, or maybe anybody off, but especially me, and they understood, and that, you know, it was important, it had to get done. They were glad I got it done, and let's start again. And we're starting again, and now, like, my grandma's gotta be sick, and I mean, I don't really know what to do with myself. I made her a nice little kind of get well card thingy, on the computer, and that made her day. She liked that, she enjoyed that, so just, like, we go over and visit, just try to, like, keep her company, cheer her up, because she's been feeling kind of down. But it's really like hard to like see her like that. I mean, it's really like stressful, and I have to like brace myself almost, because like the first time she came out, she was doing pretty good, but now that she like needs the oxygen and like she's coughing all the time and she can like barely get around. We went to go see her. I think this was the second maybe time she got out of the hospital. We get there. Me and my mom were in one car. My dad was in his car, and my mom and I get out. My mom's headed towards the house to go inside. My dad's looking at me like thinking I'm car sick. I'm like, no, I feel like vomiting. Not because the mom's driving, but because I can't like just like really. I have to go in there and be like everything's fine when I'm like really sad. It's like, 'cause I don't want her to know that, you know. Because I don't want her to feel more sad, like, down than she is. So this month has been really hectic and chaotic, and I can't really like make any plans set in stone with anybody. It's like if I'm around and like I want some distraction or companion, like, and Chad has nothing to do, like he pops over and we just like chill or go for a walk or something. But honestly, like, I don't know what to do with myself, and there's people that want to meet me, there's people that want to hang out, there's people that want to go on dates with me, there's people that want to do all these things, and it's like, honestly, I cannot make a plan with you, because, like, if my grandma goes look in the hospital, like, I'm just gonna, like, freak out. Like, I've been sad about this, like, I, like, been crying a lot. I'm, like, when this all kind of started, it's, like, what the hell, man? What gives? Like, one night I was up, like, till 4 in the morning, like, thinking, how am I gonna, like, I gotta write a eulogy, like, how do I, like, what am I gonna say? And I was, like, really stressing myself out, and I'm, like, am I doing this prematurely? Is it something that, like, who the hell knows what's gonna go on with my grandparents? So, I know a lot of people want to hang out, they want to see me, they want to know what's going on, and I'm just, like, so scatterbrained, I can't think straight, I'm lost for words, I'm just like all over the place mentally, and as much as I'd like to see some friends and hang out and stuff, it's just like really not like happening. And I'm going to try to set up like an event for November so I can like get all my friends together and like try to do something fun. But honestly, like, that's what's been going on. Like, I haven't really been working on my advice column or really doing much of any of my projects and activities because I've just been, like, just not feeling well. And I've been, like, trying to clean up my room some more so I can get, like, all the junk off the floor and get stuff put away so I can get my room redone. And it's, like, even that's now becoming stressful. And I'm just trying to make it, like, through each day, you know, like, day by day. So, and trying to figure out new forms of, anxiety reductions. Like, I downloaded 3 free games on my iPhone. Like, I play those. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Music always used to work for me. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's like, meh. Again, like, I'm trying to exercise, so, and have some contact with the outside world, but really, like, I just feel like cried all the time, and I just do not know what to do. It's like, part of me just wants to, like, lay around and be lazy bones and do nothing. Part of me is like, if you do that, you're just going to be worse off, and it's kind of like, the other day I really, like, I don't know what happened to me. I was, like, putting stuff away in my room, and then all of a sudden I got, like, really hot. And I turned my ceiling fan on, like, high. I took my socks off. I was, like, put on a nightgown. I was just, like, laying on top of my bed, and then my head started pounding, and, like, the light hurt my eyes. I put my sunglasses on. I was lying there for a good while, and I was, like, and I was like really, really nauseous, and I was like, I really don't feel good. Like, what can I do? But then at the same time, I was beating myself up because it's like I wasn't being productive. I wasn't being proactive. I wasn't like trying to do the things you're supposed to do to get your mind off all of this. So then what ended up happening was I was like, I can't be in my room anymore. So I got my phone, my headphones, my eye mask, and I went in my mom's room, laid down on her bed, put on my eye mask, I put on my headphones, I listened to the Bible and some relaxation stuff, and I was just trying to like chill out, but it's been crazy. Like, I haven't really been hungry, like, I don't really like want to eat much because nothing's appetizing. But then at night I get hungry. Like dinner time, it's like ew, lunch ew. But then like late at night I get hungry and I'm like I make a big snack and I eat it and then I go to bed. But yeah. So crazy stuff going on in my family. So I just felt like making an update video, and here you have it of me rambling on and on and on about what's been going on in my life. And I don't know what else there is to say, but thank you for watching. I know this video is long, but you know, I want to share my world with you. Yeah, so thanks for watching.